Alright, friends and family, internet people, this is another episode of Gameboy School, and what I want to teach you now, let's pick up where we left off last time. We've already made two separate things inside of our songs, so let's hear what they sound like together. I just launched LSDJ, I'm in song mode, so what I'm going to do, I'll just press start, and it'll activate this entire row. So if I had things programmed here, it would activate them at the same time as well. But let's just hear what we have. This is what Hunter and I have written so far. So there's Hunter's Pulse 1 with his bass drum and his bass instrument. And what I'm doing is I'm holding the B button down and then pressing start to solo the channel that I have my cursor in. And then there's my echo. Okay. And then you press start again. Just press start to start and stop the track. So let's mess around with the noise channel. Let's make some drums for this song. So what I'll do is I'll go over to my noise channel and I'll press A twice, and that'll open up my next open phrase. And now let's work with number 3. I think that should be, yeah. So phrase 3 is the next phrase that we're going to write in the noise channel. Now, since I'm in song mode, I'm not in the song screen. What I can do is I can edit this in real time, so I can hear what I'm doing and figure out what works and what doesn't. So I'll press start to activate what I have programmed so far. That's already kind of cool. Now all I did was make a new phrase, and then go inside of the phrase, and then insert an instrument that I already made from the pulse channel. That's my echo instrument. Now a great thing about LSDJ is that you can recycle instruments into other channels. What I just did was I took this pulse instrument and put it into my noise channel. Now, the noise channel can understand the data that the pulse channel has written in it. However, it'll interpret it entirely differently. So whereas in my pulse 2 channel, it sounds like, here it would sound like, so, as you can see, this channel interprets data commands a little differently than the Pulse 1 and Pulse 2 channels. So as far as making melodies and things like that, it's very hard to do. So what you can do is create really interesting percussive elements. So let's make a noise instrument. Let's make something that's supposed to sound good, because these are a little clippy and a little weird. So what we'll do, we can preview the instrument. Just a really long, oscillating, white static. So when I go into my instrument screen for instrument 1, and so you'll have your note and then you'll have your instrument, and that'll tell that note to be that instrument. And then on top of that, you can put little commands in here. We'll mess with that as we go in. So let's change this to a noise instrument. There we go. So hold A and then press right to go to the noise instrument parameter set. And what we'll do is we'll adjust the envelope. Now that's a really long. It's got an okay attack as far as how loud it is, but it's a little too long. There we go. And now what I can do is see, unlike the pulse screens, this is a little simpler. Instead of having all these tunes and detunes and etc., all I really have is I can manipulate the length. So I can, on top of making the envelope control the actual play of the instrument, I can also fine-tune it with the length. And you can do that in the pulse channel as well, but it's not really necessary. And now what we get to is the bread and butter of the noise channel. Now you hear this high-pitched sound. So we're going to call this our hi-hat, because this sounds alright for a hi-hat. Hi-hat. Just enough room for hi-hat. Okay, and we don't really need to do anything. A lot of instruments in the noise channel are simple, and you can convey a lot with the noise channel just percussively without really doing too much crazy stuff. So now we have our hi-hat. So let's make we want to go hiss, cat, sa. So let's do that. We'll make another instrument, and this will be, there we go. This will be, well, that's already something. Okay. This will be our snare. Always label your instruments. You get confused. I swear, it happens to me all the time. Okay. So now you hear it sounds the same as that other instrument. If I manipulate the shape command, I can change the sound from anywhere between like a fire blast spell to a pile of bricks being crushed. You can make all these cool sounds. So, ooh, you're a little higher. There we go. Okay, so now we have a hi-hat and snare. There we go. There's some drums for you. And that's about all it takes to make drums. And you can do even more interesting stuff. So, we don't want to sound like a robot, you know. So what we can do, we've already messed with commands inside of the table. As you can see here, we're not using a table on any of these instruments because we're able to modify them to our specification just inside of the instrument screen itself without any extra fiddling. So if we want to do a little extra fiddling and we don't want to mess with the nature of the entire instrument, what we can do is we can go into the command column of the phrase screen, and so that will lock in a little piece of data that will, well, here, let's see. Let's say I want my hi-hat hit right here to change into a reverse envelope. So it sounds like it's coming at you, and then it turns into a snare drum, like it pops. That would be cool. Well, what I can do is I can use the envelope command. As you can see, the volume envelope, first digit equals attack, second digit equals release. Okay, 1 through 7 equals rise, F through 9 equals decay, 0 equals sustain. And then it'll explain all of these different things for you. You can do this with all of the commands just by pressing A on the actual highlighted area right here, not in here. When you get in here, you're actually editing the parameter for this command, which will affect this instrument in this octave at this note. And then, you know, you go out here in this phrase, in this song, in the middle of a log in a bog, in the middle of a lake, whatever. You get the picture. So what I want to do is I want to make this envelope. I want to make it kind of rise like a reverse envelope. So what I can do is, well, if I think about what this thing told me, the first digit equals attack. well, I don't really want an attack, and I want the release to be really well reversed. So let's think of what the reverse of something like the ultimate apex is FF. And so if the opposite of FF is 0, 0, then you could think that F9 would be so that's a really high attack with a long release. So maybe we could put it at 0, 9 and it would have a really low attack and a long release. And so that would create a let's just see what it sounds like. Ooh. Okay. That's kind of fun. Now what we can do is we can kind of okay, so what I did was I put some more hi-hats in here. On my last hi-hat, I left it alone because it's fine as it is. But I wanted to affect these two. Because the envelope of my hi-hat is such, when I put them next to each other, it just kind of turns into a long block of white noise. So since I'm not running any tables or anything, what I can do is I can just put a kill command to kill this instrument after it activates with its envelope of A3, kill it 3 ticks afterwards, and then when the next instrument activates and essentially kills this instrument in its activation, it'll kill. It's all just a lot of messing around with how you want things, but with the kill command, you can make a lot of staccato stutters and things like that that are really effective for, I don't know, for things like this. So now we have drums for our song. Then it's all just a matter of placement, seat time, practice, and determination. So that concludes everything for the sound Gameboy School for the internet with the noise channel. See you later.